Hi, I'm Kay Ono, Interim Dean of Academic Services at Leeward Community College. I'm also the ADA 504 Coordinator. Today's session is entitled, What You Need to Know and Do for Students with Academic Accommodations for Disability Services. So let's start out with Quiz 1, a pretest. How much do you know about disability services? Question 1. How do students arrange for academic accommodations? 2. What is ClockWork? 3. Are Leeward CC students with disabilities required to meet with a disability specialist to create an individual educational plan, or more commonly known as an IEP? 4. Are students required to give all their teachers an academic accommodations letter? 5. Academic accommodation letters must be the same for all of the students' classes. And last, number 6, what do you need to do when you receive an academic accommodations letter? Throughout this presentation, you will find the answers to these 6 questions. At Leeward, our disability services is handled through our key office, which is located in our Learning Commons, room 213. We have 2 disability specialists, Chris Hernandez and Ellen DeBresia. You're probably wondering, why mandatory training? There was a complaint sent to the Office of Civil Rights. There was a dispute on the receipt of the student's accommodations letter, academic accommodations letter. The result? Voluntary resolution agreement with OCR. They've asked that we make a presentation of mandatory training for our faculty, teaching faculty, on students with academic accommodations for disability services. Leeward would like to thank Tom Hirschberner, the ADA 504 coordinator at UH West Oahu, for his presentation. So what's Leeward going to do to stay in compliance? We have a solution. We're going tech. We purchased ClockWork, which is a software program from a company in Canada. The key program, using technology to ensure compliance. It's going to track the distribution and acknowledgement of academic accommodations letters through ClockWorks. And the same procedure for distribution of academic accommodations letters will be used for face-to-face or online classes. ClockWork has the ability to generate reports. And what's the status on ClockWorks? Well, in the spring semester, we're currently pilot testing. So we thank everyone for their patience. And if you have any questions or problems, please do not hesitate to contact the key office. A quick overview of ClockWork. How does it work? Let's start with step 1, student responsibilities. The student goes to the key program website to begin his or her request for academic accommodations. If they prefer to make an appointment and meet with a disability specialist to do this registration, they're welcome to do so. When they register in ClockWorks, they will use their regular hawaii.edu login because ClockWork will be integrated with Banner. The students will upload any documentation that they have that provides evidence of their disability. Then they must call the key office for an intake appointment. If you would like more information about ClockWorks, please go to their website. Student registration form for Leeward was customized by ClockWork. And I've cut it into 3 sections. The first section is personal information, and a lot of it will be populated because of the Banner connection. You will see their checkoff boxes, and you will see that there are accommodation boxes, and the student completes this quick form. What's the key office responsibility or key program responsibility? That student information will be sitting in their ClockWorks queue. The disability specialist downloads the student information and reviews it, and they meet with the student for an intake appointment. What's nice is that they're able to research and review the information provided by the student prior to the intake session. The disability specialist assigns appropriate academic accommodations. The student can request custom accommodation letters. And the student notified of approved accommodation goes into their ClockWorks account. Step 3, student responsibilities. The academic accommodations are in the student's ClockWork queue. The student reviews the approved academic accommodations from the specialist. The student agrees to those approved academic accommodations, and if so, they generate the academic accommodations letters to their teachers. If the student does not agree to approved academic accommodations, they need to make an appointment to meet with a disability specialist to discuss those accommodations. What will be really nice is in the fall, when the students come back and they want to have the same accommodations, they do not need to have an intake appointment again. They are able to self-register, and they are able to generate their academic accommodation letters. So it will be a quick process and save our student times and get their accommodations as soon as the first day of class. Here is an example of what ClockWorks website had as an example of accommodation letters in the student's ClockWork account. You will see there are 5 classes listed there. The student can review the accommodations for each class, and they're able to also save a copy of the accommodations letter. Step 4, teacher responsibility. Just like the student, you will register in ClockWork using your Hawaii EDU information. And once you set up this account in ClockWorks, you're able to view academic accommodation letters. What's really nice with ClockWorks, you will now be able to upload tests for students that wish to take their tests in the key office. If they're given that accommodation, you can just upload the tests through ClockWorks. All academic accommodation letters in ClockWorks can be reviewed by you and must be acknowledged. Please remember, acknowledgement does not mean the same as agreeing to the accommodations. If you have any questions or regarding those accommodations, we ask that you see the disability specialist and discuss it with them. But you must acknowledge the receipt of that accommodation letter. We ask that you meet with your student to discuss their accommodations and that you implement those accommodations. Please remember to practice confidentiality regarding the student's disabilities. Do not talk about their disabilities or accommodations in front of other students. Here's an example ClockWork has provided on their website that might look something like that will be on your ClockWorks account. If you get to review a letter for a student, then you will notice there's a button to review a PDF file. Once you acknowledge that letter, then it will give the time and the date. This is information that will come through a generated report from ClockWorks. There is 504, which is necessary academic accommodations, and there is ADA, which is reasonable academic accommodations. All students must meet the same academic and technical requirements and standards as their non-disabled peers, with or without accommodations. Academic and technical standards provide a clear guide for what is deemed essential. How students will meet those standards begins the discussion about accommodations. And accommodations should never compromise safety. This information was taken from the University of California at San Francisco website. We have a student grievance process. If there are any problems, the student should contact the ADA 50 coordinator, which is me, Kay Ono. We have two policies listed here with websites, EP 1.202 and A 9.920. First one has to do with statement of non-discrimination and affirmative action. The second policy has to do with administrative procedures for equal opportunity, civil rights, and affirmative action. Discrimination complaint procedures for students, employees, and applicants for admission or employment. The UH has a complaint procedure at that website, and you can contact Lorelei Hayashi in the HR office for information or assistance with the informal or formal complaint process. So let's try a post test and see how you do. This is our quiz 2. Same questions as quiz 1. How do students arrange for academic accommodations? You all now know that they register for ClockWork, complete the registration process, and make an appointment to see a disability specialist in the key office. What is ClockWork? Leeward's new software program for disability services. 3. Are Leeward CC students with disabilities required to meet with a disability specialist to create an individual educational plan? The answer is no. When a student with disability is in K-12, it is mandated that he/she receive disability services by creating an individual educational plan. At the post-secondary level, students must self-identify their disabilities and request student accommodations. That also means they do not have to self-identify their disabilities. Question 4. Are students required to give all their teachers an academic accommodation letter? No. The student is not required to request accommodation for all classes. It is their decision. 5. Academic accommodation letters must be the same for all of the classes. The answer is no. The student can request a custom academic accommodations letter. And last, number 6. What do you need to do when you receive an academic accommodations letter? You need to acknowledge it through your ClockWork account. We have a resource, Universal Design for Learning. There is listed here our Leeward blog that can give you more information. And you can also contact Leanne Risley, our AMC coordinator, for more information. The UH system recently released this website that shows accessibility at UH and offers some very good resources for our teaching staff. I have one more question. What are you required to do if sent an academic accommodations letter? You are going to acknowledge it, you're going to discuss it with the student, and you're going to implement it. Thank you for your attention.